happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome back to our weekly Lead Champ Pro call. If you are watching with us live, we so appreciate you being here to be a live audience for us. If you're watching this recorded on Instagram, YouTube, social media, anywhere, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow us, ring the bell, all of those things that you can see whenever we're putting out more content. But even more fun than that, if you want to, you can join us live on Wednesdays, 12 o'clock Eastern on leadchampliveddials.com. We're here on Zoom, and you can be here, be the first one to see new announcements, new exciting things that are going on in the world of LeadChamp. And speaking of exciting new things, okay, Josh and Jamie are not here today. We miss them so much, but they are actually at the Go High Level annual conference. And in the past, them attending this conference has actually brought some of the most amazing tools, resources, and new features to LeadChamp. In fact, our AI bot that has booked over 15,000 appointments for agents now. They met the owners of that company at Go High Level last year, and we're able to get that set up. And even like the custom buttons that we have built inside of our CRM that you don't see in other Go High Levels. Those were built by a company that we met at the Go High Level conference. If you're using SendBlue, so they met some of the SendBlue guys out there at the Go High Level conference. And so we're hoping that they meet and, are inspired by some new ideas, some new products, some new features that we can bring to the system going forward. Now, I do want to share a little bit of good news out of the Discord. If you aren't in the Discord, you absolutely need to join the Discord. It's crazy to see what's going on. This in particular, this blew my mind. And by the way, today's call is going to be specifically for new agents. And then for anyone that's looking at becoming a customer of LeadChamp, when in your business does it make sense to kind of invest into some of these tools and systems and scale your business up? And so we're going to show you some of those things. But this right here is a lesson on it's skill over the tool. It's the agent over the lead. It's always the person over the situation, okay? And Josh, congratulations on putting in such an enormous sale, okay? I mean, this is ridiculous. 19,500, 19,500, 19,500, 19,500, 70,000, 26,000, 24,000, 26,000. Let's see, total that looks like about $220,000 in target premium, going into the books in one day. And that's a mind-boggling sale, right? One IUL lead, a key man policy for a company, his biggest sale ever. And I'm sure he's going to probably share this on many calls in the future. I bet you he'll go on a circuit and every single person will ask him about this and that he'll tell the story again and again and again. But we have a system with LeadChamp that messages your leads, that helps you book appointments, that sends out appointment confirmations and reminders, and helps you increase your show rate. But it is easy to rely on that system and not step in as the agent when needed. It's easy to go, oh, okay, well, I've got automated follow-up. I don't need to follow up. Well, I know in particular in this sale that Josh made, the appointment had been booked, okay? Maybe, I can't remember if it was by him or by one of his dialers or if it was via the text strip, but the appointment was booked and the gentleman did not respond to the appointment confirmation. And then he got the little boy and the guy did not respond to the little boy either. And if you guys know anything about the stats, if they don't respond and they don't respond to the little boy, your show rate's basically 0%. Like they're not showing up. And Josh didn't leave it to chance. He actually sent a voice memo from his phone, okay, from his cell phone to the lead and said, hey, I know you didn't respond to the message, but I got you down for this time. Just want to let you know I'll still be available then, right? Looking forward to helping you. And the guy got the voice memo and followed up on the appointment. And if Josh hadn't done that, if he had just left it up to the system, maybe he wouldn't have written this $220,000 key man policy. In fact, then from what I've heard, there was over 30 emails back and forth, okay, between him and the gentleman going over terms after multiple meetings, 30 emails back and forth that he followed up on manually to make this happen. And so although we sell systems here, we sell, AI and we sell automations and we sell saving yourself time, energy, and money with systems, do not forget the name of the game is always the best trained team wins, the best follow-up wins, the best agent always wins. And many of the top producers around all of LeadChamp, all of FFL, all the other IMOs out there, the top producers that that have sold millions of dollars, many of them did it without any system like this, right? They did it by hand. They did it on paper. And that is my first lesson for today. If you're a new agent, do not ever think that investing in tools is going to make you a great agent. It never will. Investing in tools will not make you a great agent. However, if you're a great agent, you can get extreme value out of the tools. Okay. You can use the tools to make yourself a lot of money. In fact, this sale wouldn't have happened if Josh didn't have Lead Champ running. It just also wouldn't have happened if he didn't personally follow up. So huge congrats to you on closing that one, Josh. I know that was a big deal. And that one was, I know, stressing him out leading up to it. You never know when something like that's actually going to go through or not. But wait, look at this. There's not just Josh winning around here. Hunter dropping a $31,000 sale off a referral, okay, which is incredible, basically a free lead, and then following up with an $18,000 sale. Oh, and then another $8,000. Pretty big day for the day. So congrats to Hunter as well. And then, oh, there's Derek. Derek's always on the call. Appreciate you being here as part of the live audience, Derek. Derek dropping 3 in the same day, 1,500, 1,100, 3,600. By the way, sorry to put you back to back with the, the $50,000 days and the $200,000 days these guys are having. But I hope everyone takes note of that massive sale that Josh has, but more importantly, the lesson behind it, which is you have to follow up, right? You have to step in. You're the agent. Your skills matter. And no matter how great your tools are, that won't make the difference for you. So that's what I want to start with. I've got a couple topics today. Most of these are directed at new agents, but if you're a veteran agent, I can relate to this. Sometimes hearing something again, reminding yourself of the most important things. Sometimes the things that are the most important, you stop doing them because they work so well. So this may be beneficial for you as well. But in particular, especially over this past week, and by the way, huge shout out to everyone from the Ignite events, everyone that's booked on my calendar. I think I've met now with like 70 or 80 agents individually since we got back, and I got another, few dozen appointments coming up. We are extending our event offer through this Saturday. So if you still haven't been able to, to meet with me, it's because I've been completely booked up. You can still get on my calendar over the next 2 days and still lock in that event offer. But here's something that I've noticed. Many, many, many new agents that I meet with, they believe that they should be buying our CRM on day one, starting their business. And as much as I am in charge of selling Lead Champ and want to sell Lead Champ to as many people as possible, believe me, okay? I'm incentivized to sell Lead Champ to as many people as possible. As a new agent, if you don't protect your lead flow, if you don't protect your business expenses carefully, you can easily put yourself out of business. And whenever people get on with me and I ask them, what's your lead budget? And right now they say they're spending $1,000 a month or less on leads, but they think it's a good idea to spend $500 a month on a system, on a tool, because they think that's going to make up the difference that they're lacking in skill. I got to tell you, huge red flag. That is definitely a mistake as a new agent. A lot of the veterans can tell you, you can make money with pen and paper, hand dialing in this business 100%, right? It is about the skill set, not your tools. Now, here's the flip side to that. That $500 a month tool that we offer, right, which sounds very expensive to a new agent, and it is. For an experienced agent, for someone who really has the skills, you can use it to multiply your results. I'll use Josh as an example one more time. Josh has used Lead Champ to raise his retention, to raise his annual persistency with all his carriers, I believe by over 18% with all carriers. I think at his lowest, he was in the high 60s. Now he's high 80s, low 90s with all carriers. And because of that, last year alone, that brought him an extra $80,000 in income. Okay, so now for him, the $500 a month all of a sudden is negligible compared to what this tool is making him. But that wouldn't be the case if he wasn't already able to sell at a high level. Another example, Dawson Bruce. Y'all have seen him on the calls more than once. He has now almost closed. He's closing in on $1 million worth of annuities this year that just came from our postcard and text that we send out about annuities to your clients. All right, part of the the long-term retention campaign for the clients, and that's a lot of money to generate on just bonus leads with the tool. So in this case, if you already have a big mortgage protection business or a big IUL business, some of the same clients that buy a lot of annuities, then running our system is just going to make you more money, right? So using the tools as an experienced agent can magnify your results. Another example, our power dialer, okay? Many people, I had a guy recently, it's so funny. If this is you, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to name you, but and you're a new agent, so you don't know better. One day you'll be laughing at yourself. But, this was before we came out with our power dialer. He told me, hey, there's no way I can use your CRM if it doesn't have a power dialer. There's no way I can do this business. It's impossible to do this business without a power dialer. And I heard that and I thought, well, I understand how some people could tell themselves that something like that would be true, but I know people personally, dozens of people, in fact, that have sold over $1 million worth of life insurance on their own PIN, and they did it all on their cell phone. In fact, I know one gentleman that did it entirely on it's not actually a flip phone, but like a dumb phone, not a smartphone. Okay, all it does is dial, all it does is call and text, and has done over $1 million in sales that way with his leads printed out on paper, with no CRM, with no power dialer, with no system like that. But if you are able to blame the tool as a new agent, if you can go, oh, my power dialer is not good enough, and you use that as an excuse not to take action, it will tank your business. You will not survive. It's just, we've seen it, by the way, with hundreds of agents. Tons of people come our way, sign up for our service for 1 or 2 months, and then they don't just leave LeadChamp. They leave insurance because they didn't actually have enough money invested in their leads. So let me transition into here's some actual benchmarks, some actual numbers, if you're a new agent, of when you should invest in certain tools and systems in your business. And always, by the way, always talk to your manager, talk to your agency, talk to the people that you're working with to corroborate this. But I bet you a lot of your managers will agree with me on this, okay? They will tell you that the number one most important thing you need to spend money on when you get started is leads. That is it. You need to get your lead spend up as fast as possible. In fact, here's a trap that a lot of top salespeople fall into that cause them to fail in insurance. Like, some of the most successful salespeople I've ever met have failed because of this reason. They will have like a 3 or 4 or even 5x ratio on what they spend on leads to what they sell. So what does that mean? So let's say they spend $3,000 a month on leads. They might write 12 or 15,000 on that $3,000 in spend. That's actually very good. That's a great closing rate. If you right now close 5% or more of all of the leads you purchase, whether they're age, new, whatever it may be, you're actually in, the top, closing percentage for most agents out there. So as a top performer, why would you still fail? Well, here's the reason that most of them fail. They don't get their lead spend up high enough so that the profit from their business actually can support investing in and growing their systems. In other words, they might just continue to spend $2,000 and sell 10 and live off of the 8 minus the ones that cancel, right, in between, and they never have money to invest. Whereas if they did start spending a little bit more on leads each week, a little bit more until they scaled their lead budget up to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, well, then that same ratio, right? If you're doing 5x, if you spend 1 and write 5, you can't live off that, right? If you have 1 policy cancel, you're not able to pay your rent. But if you spend 5 and write 25, well, all of a sudden you have $20,000 to work with. If you have a couple policies canceled, that's okay. You can afford to hire a staff member, invest in tools, buy better leads, right? Do all of the things that you want to do to grow your business with the same level of closing percentage, with the same sales skills, right? So scaling your lead budget up is one of the most important things. If you like fitness metaphors, I think those are some of the best for sales. Well, it's progressive overload. You have to steadily increase the amount of weight and the amount of reps that you're doing in order to put more strain on your body, right? To cause it to break down. As you get stronger, you have to put a little bit more on. So what I would encourage you to do, if you're a new agent, set a goal, not just how much you're going to sell, but how much are you going to spend on leads? Can you slowly increase the amount that you're spending on leads? To give you another metaphor, imagine you run a Subway or a Jersey Mike's, just a simple sub shop. The most important thing you need to buy every day is meat, bread, and cheese. If you have no meat, bread, and cheese, but you have 5 staff members, like, what are they going to do? Play Uno? I mean, like, you can't do anything with that. If you're paying a full-time VA, or if you spend $500, $600, $700 a month on a CRM, but you're not buying new leads, you're never going to see progress out of your business. So it's invest in leads first. Then the next thing that you should invest in is your skills. Finally, after that, you should invest in your tools, staff, etc. So invest in leads first, then invest in your skills, okay, and then invest in tools. So what do I mean by that? Well, Our CRM is the powerhouse behind our whole system. It's why so many people come to us. Many top producers have seen a 10, 15, or 20% increase in their persistency using it, bringing, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars back into their business. Okay, but the first thing you have to do is get good at booking appointments, selling insurance, closing the deal, right? Like doing that part of the business. So the best way to get better at that is to have somebody who's really good at it coaching you. Okay, that's why I would recommend that the first tool that you invest in as a new agent is a power dialer. Okay, you should definitely go with Connect Power Dialer with LeadChamp. If you're watching this in real time or within a few days of this, definitely take advantage of our offer to get 1 month for free with our VMU site and try it out. But here's why you want to use a power dialer. Because you're going to be able to get 3 times as many dials done in the same amount of time. But more importantly, you can record and transcript your calls, take them to your manager, okay, and have them shop you so that you can actually improve. Okay, a lot of people think practice makes perfect, but it does not. Practice makes permanent. The more you practice without getting corrected, the more bad habits you'll create. The best thing you can do, a lot of new agents think they need to get on live dials so they can listen to top producers. Huge mistake. You need to get on live dials so that top producers can listen to you. You need to record your calls so that top producers can listen to you and nudge you back in the right direction. I've got a lot of books up on my wall. I'm losing, the name of it at this point in time, but Michael Jordan, right? One of the greatest of all time in sports, he paid a coach to come in and change his form when he was at the top of his game so he could get better. The reason is because you can't correct yourself while you're inside the picture frame. You have to have somebody outside listening to you to be able to correct you. Well, even if you want to correct yourself, you have to be able to record it and listen back, right? So the first tool you should invest in is a power dialer because it's going to let you get more reps in, save more time, and do what? Invest in your skills more than your automations. Jamie Cheerio, right? One of the guys that created LeadChamp has sold millions of dollars of insurance himself, built a huge agency, helped other people sell millions of dollars worth of insurance. He talks about how you only really invest in your business once if you do it right. You invest one time in leads, and then after that, you just reinvest your earnings. You're never investing more money. You just invest one time. And that is a hard mentality to have. It's easy to see the first commissions you have come in and send them straight towards your bills. But what you really need to do is go and buy more leads, pay your staff, right? Invest in your tools, grow your business, and build your profit so you can pay yourself more. Well, the other thing Jamie talks about, though, that I 100% believe, and I think it's one of the reasons why he sells so much, is because early on in his career, he invested heavily in himself. He bought thousands of age leads. He dialed like a maniac. He got on live dials every day. He let people listen to him, and he pushed and pushed and pushed his skills until now. He will tell you that if he lost everything, his agency was gone, he had no brand, no one recognized him, he had no money in his pocket, he could rebuild the entire thing again, right, by investing one time in leads again, because now he's got the skills. And as an agent, or especially as a recruiter, if you're trying to build a big agency, nothing will help you more than having that level of confidence in yourself than knowing that you could do it without any tools, without any resources, without any staff, right, on your own skills. Once you have that, you can basically print money in this business. I mean, I see people every day going out selling 40, 50, 60, 70,000 a month, right? Some of them, you know what I mean? It's incredible. It's incredible how young they are, right? And the amount of money that they're printing in this business. And what's even crazier, which brings me to my next point, is that many of them are doing them on leads that some people think are just terrible and they're impossible to use. Okay, and so this is a piece of advice that I would give to every new agent, and it is so hard to hear, but there are people making millions selling on all of the lead types, every single lead type. Some of them are better or worse for different things. Okay, we know some of the data here with LeadChamp because we see hundreds of agents using different lead types through our text strip. So I'll give you an example. There's leads in the ILC called Ethos abandoned cart leads, right? These are leads where someone went to Ethos, or they went to another self-service spot they were looking at buying, but then they didn't. They didn't actually fill out a form and say, hey, contact me. You know what I mean? But they were looking to buy insurance. Those leads in particular, we've seen a lot of them don't message back to the text strip as much. But do you know there's still people selling 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a month? And they will tell you that's the only type of leads they run. Same thing with these super cheap aged leads that cost a quarter a piece, 50 cents a piece. You know, I have agents all the time that tell me, oh yeah, you can't make any money off those old crappy leads. They don't actually want it, you know. I hear that from people. And then I also hear people that are selling 70, 80, 90, $100,000 a month on those exact leads. And here's the difference between those people, okay? It's actually very simple. Your belief. A lead is a lead, and if you believe that they're good leads, you will get way better results than if you believe that they aren't. You know, we've had some people that have come on our lead program with Lead Champ, and we run ads for people for IUL leads. And it's amazing. I've had a few people from day one, they kind of had a bad attitude about it, and then they didn't end up selling that much. And then I've also seen people, you know, like Josh, like Dylan Priest, that have consistently sold 80, 90, 100,000 a month on those leads. And I'm going, what is the real difference here? Well, part of it's the skill. Part of it is, you know, your attention and follow up, but a big part of it is believing that it's actually going to work, right? Believing that they filled out the form, believing that they actually want the insurance, and going in with that confidence. You know, I've seen Jamie on the phone so many times push through objections on live dials where someone's like, oh, well, you know what? And he's like, hey, man, I know it's important to you, right? You filled it out. Let's get it taken care of. And they're like, all right, you're right. You know, because they want the insurance. They raised their hand and said, I want it. Okay, but your attitude determines a lot in that. So if you fall into the trap where you blame your leads, you blame your manager, your agency, you blame your tools, you blame your mentor, right? You blame anything else, you're destined to fail. If you take responsibility, then you have unlimited potential to succeed. You're in control of your own destiny on that. So don't fall for that trap, okay? If you're a new agent, don't be telling yourself like, well, oh, when I get to the good leads. No. If your manager set you up with some aged leads to help get you started, understand those are people that said, I want the insurance, and no one's got a hold of them yet, right? And the first one you call is going to answer and say, yes, that's what I'm looking for, right? But you've got to take that action and believe it. Okay, so don't think, okay, as soon as I can afford Lead Champ, then my business is going to take off. I promise you it won't. And the reason I'm telling you this is not because I don't want you to buy it. It's because we want people that are going to be customers with us forever. And whenever you're selling 15 or 20,000 a month, which by the way, if you're wondering when, okay, Nick, fine, I'll go invest in leads, I'll invest in the dialer, I'll invest in my skills, and I'll go get my lead bill up. I'll go spend more. At what point should I pay for all these systems and automations? Well, what we've seen is that most people, almost everyone that's come on our system has seen a 10% or more increase in their retention. So it's a simple mathematical equation. If you're selling $15,000 a month, a 10% boost brings $1,500 a month to your bottom line. So once you're selling $15,000 a month, I think go ahead, invest in the automations, get the client retention campaign going, keep your business on the books, and also take advantage of the extra, hear me on that, extra appointments that AI will book for you. And we do have some top producers, okay? I'm not going to tell names, but I know them that only text their leads. They only run their leads through our system and take the appointments that AI books, and they don't call them. Please don't do that, by the way. Please call your leads. The reason we've gotten such good results texting people, it's not because texting is better than calling. That's a trap too. Here's what it is. There's two types of people out there nowadays. You guys know people like both these people. There's some people, they only want to talk on the phone. They don't want to text you. So if you text them, they'll call you. But there's another group of people that when you call them, even if they're available, everyone on here has a friend like this, I know you do. Even when they're available, they will send you to voicemail and text you, what's up? Because they just don't take calls. You think if they're doing that to their friends, you think they take calls from random phone numbers, even if they did fill out a form? No, they don't. So why do we have automated texting systems? So that you as the new agent, right, can call all of those leads, speed to lead as soon as they come in. You want to be calling them. But the ones that don't answer, they will see that text on their phone and respond to the AI. So keep in mind, those should be extra appointments for you. You should be viewing those as extra appointments. So has our system booked over 15,000 appointments for agents? Yes. On any given month, do Josh and Jamie have 10% or more of all of their leads get booked appointments by AI? Yes. But that will only help you if you already have developed the skills of dialing, booking appointments manually, following up manually, closing the deals manually, doing the underwriting, being able to actually build the business. So if I were you, if you're a brand new agent, this is what I would do. As soon as you can afford the power dialer, get it, because it's going to save you time. Okay. I definitely think that you will be happy to get the power dialer early, be able to make more calls in less time, get your skills up faster. Then though, invest in more and more leads. Okay. Increase your lead bill more and more, increase your advertising bill until you're selling 15,000 a month or more. And then you should definitely get our system. Then getting our system is going to put money back in your pocket faster than it comes out. And you'll never want to cancel with us. By the way, that's why I want you to do this, because I want you to be one of our clients for life. The people that we have that have 600-700 clients in their system that are getting birthday cards from us, New Year cards, Christmas cards, right? Annual review reminders. They don't want that to stop, right? It's printing them money for them. So I want every new agent on here to get on our system, of course, but I want you to actually win in the business. And like I said, ask your manager if you think I'm messing with you, and if your manager says, no, you need to get Lead Champ day one, come see me. I'll help you get it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not going to turn you away if you want to buy from us day one. But what I know is if you fall into the trap of, oh, as soon as I get Lead Champ, then I'll be successful, that is you're destined to fail on that note. Okay. Last thing here. Building a big agency, getting a lot of agents on on your team. This is something that a lot of people, aspire to do, especially if you've been positively benefited by this business. Like if you were in a dead end job before, you had a boss that you hated, and now you've got unlimited freedom as an independent broker, as someone that can go out and write their own check, and you want to give back to people, you want to share that opportunity with others, you want to spread the word about it, or because you want to build the passive, residual income, you want to build up an income that continues on because maybe you don't want to sell at the same high level forever. Either way, if you're at the Ignite event, you didn't take this note down, I wrote this note down, I've probably written it down 100 times in my career. Write the business, tell the story. Okay. Write the business, tell the story, right? For the new agents on here that want to recruit a lot, here's how you recruit a lot of people. Go make the most money you've ever made in a week, a month, a year, and just tell every one of your friends about it. Okay. And tell me if you don't recruit more people than you ever have. I remember my very first year in sales, I tried to recruit. I called all my friends and told them, you got to check this out. You're going to love this. Every single person said no. At the end of that year, when I had broke my office's sales record and made more money than all of my friends combined, okay, this is when I was in high school, right? This was a summer break. All of a sudden, every single one of them wanted to try it out the next year. Surprise, right? If you go and create an amazing story, everyone is going to want to work with you, right? So if you're a new agent, and the only reason I bring this up, some of you guys are like, yeah, of course. Like you're preaching to the choir. Like, why would I go and try and recruit a ton of people? You know what I mean? If I can't, do it myself. Well, just because you haven't sold at a high level doesn't mean you can't share the opportunity, right? You might invite someone to take a look at this that ends up being better than you. That's okay. The point being, though, is that the people who build these giant agencies, they do it by being an example for their team. Everyone wants to follow someone who's doing the thing. One of the reasons why so many people love Josh and Jamie, one of the reasons so many people love to use Lead Champ is because they're out here using it themselves every single day. They're in the trenches. They're making the dials. They're running the appointments. They're making the sales. Before this, before telesales, I had never seen anyone work as hard as Jamie Cheerio, dude. Driving 2 hours, 3 different directions on any given day of the week to run in-home appointments because he didn't have enough leads near where he lived. And I remember people saying, well, there's not enough leads near where I live. And Jamie's waking up at 4 a.m, driving 2 hours one direction now to, a different city to run appointments every single day because it's about the agent. It's not about your resources. It's about how resourceful you are. So if you're looking to build a giant agency and people ask me all the time, like, well, hey, can you set me up with a referral code? And can we have our own agency discount? And I'm like, yeah, how many agents you got? And they're like, I got 2 agents. I'm like, well, yes, we'll eventually we will get you an agency code. We do have some people that have agency codes with Lead Champ, but 2 agents, is not the same thing as a giant agency that you're building. But it's so easy. It's so easy to get caught up on, okay, it's so complicated to recruit. It's not, guys. It's not. Just go sell the business. How many people do you think have hit up Josh about that sale recently? Everyone he knows. Everyone he knows that he's ever prospected about working with him. Everyone he knows that's in sales in another industry, they're all like, wait, so how much did you sell in one day? You said 200,000. And then they're asking the questions that everyone does when they first hear about insurance. They're like, wait, so you made like what, like 10% on that? And Josh's like, no, like my comp's actually over 100%. No, over 100%? You can't make over 100%. How does that make any sense, right? You guys probably know what that conversation looks like. And they're like lining up to join, right? So don't get it out of order, right? Focus on what's most important. Go write the business and then just tell the story, right? And here's an easy way to tell the story, by the way. Just hit the what happened button and all your sales will get posted in our Discord. Okay. I'll show you on all of these calls. We'll bring you on to share. We'll promote you like crazy. You know, your agency manager will. You know, all of the people that are trying to build their agency will bring you on and help you show the story everywhere you need to go. But you've got to go write the business. You got to go set the example. You've got to go be the person that everyone wants to follow. And no one's team ever outpaces them. So if you want to have a big team, you got to lead the pack. So I know, like I said, a lot of you guys on here, you're experienced agents, you're veterans, you've been doing this a long time. I'm preaching to the choir. You don't need to hear it. But because I've just met with so many new agents lately, and they're all telling me, oh, yeah, you know, I'm recruiting all these people. And I'm going, well, okay, how much are you spending on leads? Like $500 a month. I'm like, okay, how much are you selling? Well, a few thousand. I sold 8,000 last month. I'm like, all right, you have to scale that up. You have to invest more in your leads. You have to invest more in your actual business, right? And grow yourself up so that you can have the resources to hire a bunch of staff members to pay for fancy systems like this and so forth. All right, so last thing, if you want to take advantage of our promo right now, you want to get that power dialer for as cheap as possible and be able to have one of the tools that will actually save you time in the early game, help you get your skills up faster because you can go through more reps. Meet with me over the next 3 days, okay? Go to leadchamppro.com, book a demo, and I'll get you the code to get that discount. If you are like, hey, no, I'm already a top agent. I'm already selling enough. I'm already over that 15,000 or 20,000 a month mark. I want to get all the automations. I want to have all the follow-up system. I want to have the AI. Same thing, book a demo. We're running a special on that where if you get the CRM brand new, we'll give you 1 month of the power dialer to try out for free as well. That ends in 2 days though. So leadchamppro.com and click book a demo. And for all of y'all that have already been users for a long time, that are already hitting the what happened button, that are already in the Discord sharing, we appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to Quentin, Sheila, Drake. I see you on here. Brett, Shannon, Derek, all of you guys. I know I shouldn't have started naming people because there's so many that are so positive that, really, we appreciate you all so much promoting us, telling everyone about us. You know what I mean? Telling all your new agents. Some of you guys tell all your new agents that they need to come and buy this. And when they show up, I'm like, hey, actually, hold on. Like, how much are you spending on leads? Like, make sure you're buying enough leads first, right? So if you have new agents, send them to us to get the power dialer. Okay. Let them know, get the power dialer, get your reps up, get your sales up, and then invest in the CRM when it makes sense. Okay. Don't bog down your expenses too soon with that. We want to make sure that you're a customer for life. Shannon, in most top agencies, the leader personally produces 1/2 of the team's business. Lead by example. I don't know how close that stat is to like being 100% true, but I have seen the same thing across the industry. Everywhere you look, all the biggest agencies, the leader is leading from the front. Eventually at some point your agency outgrows you, right? If you really do a good job, there's some people that, they sold $1 million, for a few years and now they haven't sold in a while and their agencies do millions. Of course, there's a point where you get there, but for the majority of agencies, I've seen the same thing. The leader's doing a third, half of all of the sales, right? But that's where all the people want to go too. Everyone wants to work with those leaders. No one wants to work with somebody who isn't making it happen. So I know you guys are all making it happen. Send your new agents to me, leadchamppro.com. If you want to get the dialer, leadchampconnect.com to sign up for that. And if you want to join us live next week, we will have Josh and Jamie back. We're going to have some more guests coming on that have sold a ton with LeadChamp. And I'm hoping, like I said, that they're going to come back from the Go High Level conference with some new exciting toys and programs for all of our existing users. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you tuning in if you're part of the live audience. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern, leadchamplivedals.com. And feel free to join us any day if you want to just dial with us. Thank you guys. Bye for now.